HTML. Now go down to this, save that. So now I want to create the feature sections. All right, guys, for the feature section, I'm gonna comment this out. So I'm going to use the tag section. I'm going to use the tag section with the ID of features. So I want to use the class container. With the class grade. I want the class left with the class main img. So I'll use the image tag. The source will be images / section 1 svg. So the main image, after that I want this is at the left, so that's why we're using the class left. Next one to write the right class, the class right, and h4, we want the h4, and we want this to be features. Want it to be features. Save. In the h4, I want to include a class. I want to include a class in the h4, which will be subed. Subed. You remember we included that class in our CSS in the global section. Let me go up. This is subed, and we also have the head test subed. So this is the subed, and this is the head test. So if you check this as well, this is the subed, and this is the head test. So now, let me go back to the HTML. Now I want to write the head test, which this is h1 more with our tools, more with our tools, and then I'm going to use the div with I'm going to use the class of services. What's strong with me? Services, and in that I'm going to use the class of service with a class of service 1. So now I want to create this. Want to create this part. So now I'm going to use the class left inner with the image tag. The source will be img, will be images / messengers, images / messengers. And underneath the left inner, I'm going to write another class, which will be right inner. There we have the h3 branding want to copy this, include that in a small tag, small, include that, save it, let's check. Okay, this is kind of too big for now. So we're going to style it, don't worry, don't let this intimidate you. We're going to style it. So now I want to copy this and paste it into 3 places. So I'll copy this, all this. Let's copy that, paste it, paste it. So first I want to change this service 1 to service 2. And I'll change this to marketing, and I'll change the image to megaphone, change the image to megaphone. I'll change this to 3, change the image to pie chart, this pie chart, and I'll change the H3 to SEO solution, SEO solutions, and I'll save. So now that is all. I don't know why this takes time to load. That is all. The images are bigger. We're going to make that small. So I think that is all for the feature section. So now I'm just going to style, go to the CSS, go below everything. I'll just copy these and paste it there and change this to features. And we just go underneath and use the hash to target the DID features. First, I want to change the weight to 100%. And second, I want to change the height. So for that, I want to change the height to 400 pixels. The background color will be this color. I'll save that. And features, that container. I want to target a container. The background of the container will be white. The background of the container will be white. I want the grid template columns to be 60 pixels, 60% for the image and 35% for the text by the right. So I want this to justify. I want to justify the content, everything. I want to justify them. Space between. Grade gap, I want to include some gap. So grade gap, I want that to be 1.5 RAM. Padding, I want to include some padding. I want it to be 70 pixels top and bottom and 40 pixels left and right. Border radius. Radius, want it to be 20%. If you're confused that what am I creating right now, I'm creating this inner container. I'm creating the container in it. So this is what we're creating, this part. So we want the border to be, we want it to be 20 pixels round. So I'm just going to save that so we see what we're doing. You can see we have the 20 pixels round. So now I'm going to margin. I want the margin to the top. Margin top, I want it to be minus. Yeah, I want that to be minus 250 pixels. So it goes way to the top like this, as you can see. Something like this, it goes way to the top. So I want to include body shadow, box shadow, right? I want to include box shadow. So you see there's this box shadow there. So I'm just going to copy the box shadow. It takes time to write things like this. So I'm going to paste it here. As you can see, we have the box shadow. We have the one for the Mozilla. We have the one for the Firefox. And we have the one for the normal browser. So this is the box shadow. You can see. So next I want to start a image. This left image, I want to start that. So I'll just say features dot left image img. So I want the weight for that to be 100%. Yeah, I want the background to be something like this. I want to include what we added here for the hero section. Want to include that for this part as well. As you can see, the final website. So now I'm going to copy this top background. So I'm going to paste it here. Paste. And first we're going to change this pattern to the first pattern. I'm changing it to pattern 2. And this one as well to pattern 2. And I want this to be left. Yes, left. And 7 pixels, 7% top. I want the top to be 7%. I'm going to show you, don't worry. So this I want it to be white. 10% bottom. 10% bottom. I'm going to save that. So I want to change the background size. The background size, I want that to be 150 pixels, 150 pixels. And I want the background origin. The background origin, I want that to be pattern box. I'll save that. So now let's check. Okay, this is at the bottom, left 7% top. So now I want this to be at the left. I want it to be 7% instead of it staying just to the way left. I want it to be 7% from the left, and I want it to be top 10%. I want it to be 10% from the top. So I don't want it to stay at the top. As you can see, it's staying way at the top right now. You see, it's the same height with the image, but I want it to come down a little bit, which means I'm going to use top 10%. I've saved, you see, it came down a little bit. So now I want the right to be 10% for this. The right, you see, it comes from the right 10%, but it is way to the bottom. So I want the bottom to be 25%. So I will say bottom 25%, and I'll save. So you see, it comes up from the bottom 25%. So that is how you control your, if you want to create something like this with your background, a background image, and you want to position it, you can just play with it the way you want. You can just change the positioning. You can take it to the center, bring it here, wherever you want to put that. So you can just do that yourself. So next, I'm going to come to the service area right here. So I want to start the service area with the features, service, one service, and margin, bottom. I want that to be 10%, 10 pixels. So margin bottom, I want it to be 10 pixels, something like this. Margin bottom, 10 pixels. So now I want to, first of all, I want to start this image so we'll be able to see what we're doing. So let me just go away to the image features, service, service, image. Just say the weight. I want the weight to be 40 pixels. Sorry for that. And I want to float it to the left. So let's just say 40 pixels and see now it's smaller. So let's go back to the styling of everything, the rest. So now I'm going to say features. I'm going to get a features ID with a class of service, services, services H3. I want the line height to be 0. I want the line height to be 0, so it comes closer. Line height 0. H3. Are we using H3? No, we're using H4. Why am I now? We're using H4, so I'm just going to change that to okay, H4. H4. Gonna change this to H4. H4. I'll save that. On the line height to be 0. Let me check. Okay. So now I want to start this small class, this small tag, this features, services. Okay, service small. On the line height of these, the line height to be 25 pixels. 25 pixels. Features. So now let's start the right inner. This right inner. Right inner. Let me explain with this. This is the right inner, while the image is the left inner. So we want to start the right inner first. Features, it's services, that's right inner. And I want that to be weight. I want the weight to be 7%. I want the weight to be 7%. Then I want it to display inline block. Inline block. I want the margin left. I want the margin left to be 200 pixels. So it pushes the image to the left, 200 pixels, and the margin top, I want that to be 0. Margin top 0. I'm going to save that. So you can see 200 pixels, margin top 0. Okay. Oh, not this is not for the H4. This is for the H3, this H3 right here. So I'm going to change this to H3 to remove the height. So you can see the height has been removed. So now I want to style the image by the left, these images. So we have there to be 40 pixels weight and float left. I want the background color to be E. So I want that color. So I want the padding to be 10 pixels. And I want the border radius to be 50%. Let's save that. Now it's all looking good. Yeah, it's looking good now. So you see, but we're going to use JavaScript to style it, to make the function so it scrolls smoothly to the top. So now let's go to the next section, which is the about section. Go back to the HTML. Copy this. Paste it underneath the section. I'll change this to about. Now for the about section, I'm going to start with the section tag. Section. We use the ID of about. So want a class of container with a class of grade. Want a class of left. Want to create a class of left innate. Left. First, want the H4. About with a class of sub head. Now we're creating this about with a class of subhead. I'm just going to copy these. I'm going to create the class, the tag of each one. Now paste this innate and the P tag. Now copy this. RM Epson here. I'll paste it in it. Save. Want to toggle the view wardrobe. So save that. And want to create this underneath. So I just go under. I'll use the div tag with a class of charts. With a class of charts. And I'll use the P tag with a class of charts and the class of charts1. This will be 33%. can see 33%. I'm going to copy this and I'll paste it. 1, 2, and 3. So I want to change this to 45. I want to change this to 24. And I want to change this to 40. I'll save that. So let's check. 40, as you can see. So now we're going to create the image by the right here. So I want to include our image. You go under the div, the class left, and we're going to create another class, right? And I want to include image, the image tag, the source will be images / section 2. And here I want to include a class main image, save. Don't know why this is kind of slow. Don't know what's happening. I'm going to off my Wi-Fi there. So maybe that will be more faster. So save. So we'll go to the CSS and just style it up with the CSS. So we'll go to the CSS. And here I want to create, I'll copy this and I'll paste it here. I'll change it to about. So want to use the about ID. First, I want to change the background color of that to this F6, F1, F6, F1, ED. So that is it. Change the color to that first. This is it. The color have been changed. Don't worry about these images. I'm going to link the file in the description so you can just download it through the code panel or GitHub. I'm going to use code panel or GitHub so you can just get a file. So now I want to get a about ID container, the class container, and I'm going to first want to do the grade template column. I want the left to be 35 pixels, 35%, sorry. And the right, I want it to be 40%. I'll save that. You can see 35, 40. So I want to justify the content space between, and I want to give it grade gap. I want it to be 1.5 rem. Save that. You see this is at the right and this is at the left. So now I want to start the right image first. And we're using the same thing we used right here. So for that, I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it here. And I'm going to change these features to about. Yeah, to about right. Change this to right. Save. And you see we have the background pattern right there. Let me check. Okay, let me See, I want to change this to 0. So this come way to the left, 0%. And I'll just leave the rest like that. This will just be 0%. I'll leave the rest like that. So that is it for the image, right image. So now let's style the pie chart, the chart right here, this. Let's style that. So I'll just say about is the about ID dot chart. First, I want the white space unwrap. I want the white space to be unwrap. So why am I doing this? The reason why I'm doing this in which whatever the weight is, I want this to be on the same line. I don't want it to wrap or to stack on each other. So that is why I'm using the white space on no wrap, white space, no wrap. So it stays on the same line. Whatever the weight is, it stays on the same line. So for that, we use the value, no wrap. So next I want to go to the about. I want to target the about ID. Now I want to use the chart class. So I'm going to display inline block, margin. I want the margin right to be 20 pixels. So there's space between each one of them. 20 pixels. The color, I want the color to be white. Font weight, I want the font weight to be bold. Font size, I want it to be 14 pixels. Vertical align, I want it to be align bottom and border. Radius, I want it to be 5 pixels. Let's save and check. You see, now they are on, everything is on a line, one line, because that is because we use the line, the inline block, display inline block, so it makes it on one line. So next I want to copy this, now paste it right here. So I want to target the chart 1. The chart 1, I want to change the color for that, the background color. The background color will be this. And the padding, I want the padding for that to be 35 pixels top and bottom, and 15 pixels left and right. I'll save that. As you see, oh, they are all doing the same thing. Chart 1, that means we have to go back and change days to chart 2, days to chart 3, and days to chart 4. So we can style each one of them differently. So chart 1, we're having days. So okay, I'm gonna copy days and I'm gonna paste it 3 times. I'll change this to chart 2, and I want to change the color of this. Oh, sorry, the color of this to this purple. and I'll change the padding top and bottom to 60. I'll leave the padding left and right to in 15. I want to change this color to DDD. Whatever that is, I want to change this to 25. The padding top and bottom 25, and the left and right will be 15. Okay. I want to change this color to F1D. F1D 8 C6. I'll save that and what's happening? Okay, we change this to 3 and we change this to 4 to save. Okay, I want to change the height of this to 40. Save. So you see, now it looks the same. So no matter the weight of this, the weight of the browser, it stays on the same line and it stays at the bottom of the line. The bottom, that is why we use this vertical line bottom, so it stays at the bottom. So now that is it for the about. Next section, we want to create this "Just Do It," which is the Nike slogan. I don't know, we just have to do it, right? So let's just do it. So now I'm going back to the HTML and I'm going to create the Just Do It section, copy, and I'll paste it under this about section, paste that here, and I'll change it to Just Do It, save, yep. So that's it. Now I'm going to create that. So I'm going to use the section tag with the ID of, okay, I'm going to use the class of just do it. I'm going to wrap it up with a container tag, the container class. Wrap it up with a container class. So I need the h4 with the class of subhead, and in it I'm going to write the test just do it. So that is it. So I have the tag of h1. I'm gonna copy this to save our time. I'm gonna paste it in it. So I'm gonna save that, and underneath we need a button tag. Button learn more. Save that. And that is it for that. Okay, let's style it. Let's come to so the button is already styled. So let's just go to the CSS and let's go underneath this and comment this out. I want that to be just do it. So write the class just do it. I want to change the background color. I want to change the background color to this purple. the text. I want to align it to the center. The pattern on top and bottom 80 pixels, left and right I want it to be 0, and you can see. So now I want to change the H. I want to style the H1. I want to change the color to white. I want to start the H4 as well. Okay, let me just say H1. Let's do this together. Copy, comma. Now change this to H4. So we start the H1 and the H4. We change the text to white. Since there's a weight here, we have to change the weight of the H1. Oh, okay. Copy this, paste it here. We have to change the weight of the H1. I'm going to clear this and clear this as well. Color white, the weight, I want the weight to be 500 pixels. Test the line center. Center. Let's save that. See what we got, okay? Okay, let's use margin. Margin, want the margin left. Want it to be auto. And the margin right. Want that to be auto as well. We save. So it's moved to the bottom now. So that is it. So watch the next tutorial. I'm going to link that below, or I'm going to put it at the board at the top. I'm going to add that there so you can just watch it for you to complete this website. So thank you for watching. I really appreciate. Subscribe below if you haven't yet, and give this video a thumbs up if you really want it. And thanks. Watch the next video to complete the tutorial.